Indonesia has strong commitment to contribute to the global efforts at reducing greenhouse gases by increasing our goal to reduce our greenhouse gases by 29% below business as usual by 2030. This is an ambitious target and arduous task for Indonesia, given that we are still experiencing development challenges. Despite our strong economic potentials, we are currently experiencing an economic crisis. A significant part of our population is still vulnerable to poverty, and we are still working hard to reduce a rising level of income disparities between prosperity levels and between regions. Our GDP growth rate slowed between 2010 to 2015 from 6.2 to 6.5% per annum to only 4% by the first quarter of 2015. And coupled with the rapid rise in population that has increased at an average rate of 1.49% during the period of 2000 to 2010, with demographic bonus posing challenges for Indonesia in fulfilling energy demand, ensuring food security, and fulfilling livelihood needs. These economic challenges places an undue burden to our efforts to reduce our greenhouse gases. We strive to fulfill our commitment in reducing our greenhouse gases because Indonesia is one of the most vulnerable countries to the effect of global warming. As the country with the second longest coastline in the world, Indonesia faces a high risk of coastal inundation and sea level rise that may affect up to 42 million people living in low elevation coastal zones. Our people and our economy suffers from the most adverse impact of climate change in the forms of droughts, landslides, floodings, and inundation of vast coastal living areas. The ENSO phenomena of El Niño and La Niña have periodically worsened such impacts, such as the devastating forest fires we are currently experiencing. Forest fires causes damages not only to current economic infrastructure, but also the future of our next generation. Recognizing that our emission is dominated by land use and peatland sources, we have developed an action plan towards 5 free forests by 2019. It includes a rigorous law enforcement measures of zero tolerance on burning for land clearing, moratorium on new permits on peat, and termination of existing permits. We also plan to restore the ecosystem of forests and areas damaged by the fires and review the current spatial plans to include greater emphasis on natural infrastructure, especially in areas with peat. This will require massive financing, technology, and capacity building, and we welcome international contribution to support us in this endeavor. In 2009, Indonesia set commitments to reduce emission by 26% by 2020 and now raised in our INDC to 29% by 2030 compared to the business as usual. With international, we plan to go further to 41%. This is a fair and ambitious contribution, considering our need to balance between pursuing economic growth and sustainability for our 250 million people of 300 ethnics and languages. With 120 million hectares of forest areas with second highest terrestrial biodiversity, 20 million hectares of peatland, and 350 million hectares of ocean with world's highest marine biodiversity. We continue to integrate climate change policies into our national and local development planning with focus on 5 sectors. First, energy. Second, industrial processes and product use. Third, agriculture. Fourth, land use change and forestry. And fifth, waste. In our development plans, we have targeted a total of 12.7 million hectares of forest areas for social forestry, ecosystem restoration, conservation, and sustainable use. We believe that community-based management of the forests will bring about prosperity that will enhance the protection of the environment. To complement legal enforcement measures in combating deforestation, we commit in developing our own timber legality assurance system to ensure that timber exported from Indonesia comes from sustainably managed forests. Indonesia encourages all trade partners to recognize this system in importing timber products. We would like to call on all of us to abide by the principle of the common but differentiated responsibilities and respect of capabilities and social-economic conditions in the preamble of the UNFCCC. This principle recognizes the development challenges of countries such as Indonesia in its endeavor to contribute to the global efforts to combat climate change. Indonesia will not forsake its commitments in reducing its greenhouse gases. Indonesia calls on developed countries to take the lead in combating climate change due to the responsibility that they bear in the international pursuit of sustainable development in view of the pressures their societies place on the global environment and of the technologies and financial resources they command.